So for class today, we will be painting the barn. And as a reminder, I'm showing here on the left-hand side, the photo of the barn from which we did our drawing. And then on the right-hand side, that's one example of the drawing that I did of the barn with the little fence on the side. And then, so during the second class, what we did is we did a certain number of thumbnails. And I want to come back on these thumbnails and show them here on the screen. And the reason we did so many is so that, we could improve for each of them. So the first two that we did, we just did a monochrome, just with one color, different tones. So the blue. And so when I did my first one, I realized that this wall was a little leaning. And also, I thought that, this, I'm not sure if I like this or the way that I did the mountains. So on the second one, I straightened my wall here, and I decided that the faraway mountain, the light gray mountain, I would do, it would cover, it would be higher than the barn, and it makes it interesting for highlighting the top of the wall. See here how of the roof. See how we can see it very well here. Whereas here, it's not as obvious against the sky. So that's why I had tried making this mountain higher so that it would clearly define the roof. Then I tried it with colors like this. But when I tried it with the colors, then my shape got a little off. And I realized that my barn was right in the middle and was a little bit too big. So I tried a second one, like so, where I made the barn a little bit smaller to give more room for the eye to rest here on the front, and for a longer fence. And I like this one better. Now, this doesn't mean that as I am painting on the larger canvas, if I wanted to try to add a tree, I could still paint on this little thumbnail. If I want to add a tree, to try it, to see where it goes, where it should go, where's the best composition. But I'm going to use this as my guide to know where I want to put my barn, and maybe and how big compared to the overall canvas. And that's why we did so many thumbnails, is to try different things. Any questions on this?
No.
Hi, Leslie. Remember how last week we practiced our grays and we practiced our reds and our greens that we want to use today to paint the barn. So have this little reference of all the different colors that we practiced close by, so you can look at it and refer to it as needed.
Okay.
Well, about putting the photo on display. So you have a very good drawing of your barn, and before you started, you traced that barn drawing onto your canvas. Now your drawing is supposed to be your guide as to where is the darkest dark and where's the lightest light, and where's the midtone. And you also did some thumbnails of your barn. And we also practiced the colors last week. So instead of looking at the photo, you should be using all this reference material to paint your barn.
Okay.
So that's what I would like to suggest. Instead of looking at the photo and trying to replicate what you see on the photo, you should use your reference material. And in this way, you will personalize your barn the own way that you want, and use all this reference material, which is what we're supposed to do when doing a larger painting of the same subject.
Okay.
So let's see. Well, I see several different colors. Which one is
Right.
the one that you like very much, that you painted it with?
I kind of like the second one that's like over there. that one.
Okay, yeah.
Oops.
And you can't make it again?
Right, it's coming out much darker. It's like more of a brown. Before, it looked like alizarin, but like in my notes, it said you tried out, let's see, I had alizarin, and then I add a tiny bit of yellow, and then I add a tiny bit of green, you know?
Right. You
Yeah.
added too much green.
Oh, so to counteract that, should I add more alizarin since that's the opposite?
Yeah, well, what you should do is you should take alizarin, put it in a new spot on your palette, and take a little bit of that brown and put it in the alizarin. And if that's not enough, put a little bit more.
Okay.
So this book, it's actually, I have the book in French, but I saw it at the library in English. It's a book that shows, it talks about maybe 10 or 12 Impressionist painters like Monet and Renoir. And it shows one or two paintings. Van Gogh's in that book too. It shows one or two paintings of each painter. And it also indicates the palette that they used.
Oh.
So it's very
That's cool.
interesting. It's got something like this.
Oh.
It shows the palette of the different colors that they used. And in those days, you know, during the Impressionists, they didn't squeeze out the paint out of a tube. They used the actual chemical component to make their colors.
Oh my God. That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's how it was in the old days. So to make cadmium red, they would actually use real cadmium and mix it up with whatever else component they needed to mix it up with to make it an oil paint. And to make, you know, their gray, they had to make it up. To make a yellow ochre, they had to make it up.
That's
So,
why they call them the masters, you know?
I'm sorry?
That's why they call them the masters, to be able to make all their colors and.
Well, there are masters nowadays, even though they squeeze out the colors out of the tube.
Oh, I know, but they were the originals, you know what I mean? They were the.
Yeah. So I've done my drawing, and see this fence here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes from a certain size to bigger,
Oh, yeah.
meaning it's coming towards the viewer. So it's important to
Do that.
do this, because if you keep it the same size, it's going to look like it's completely
Yeah,
flat.
that's gonna be a challenge.
So this is my drawing that I start with. Now I'm going to have some fun with those colors.
Mm.
Time it looks too dark, and it looks too dark because you have a lot of white canvas
Oh.
around it.
Okay,
So I suggest you cover the rest of the white canvas, then you can better judge if that roof is too dark or not. My little, you know, colors that I had done. So I had done this one and this one in color. If I show close by, this is a nice green, but it's very, very dark. You can see it here in the shadow as well. This one has a little bit more yellow in it, but it's still very dark. So you can make a nice green. And these greens are very similar to this here. So this is made, so this is the green that is made with 2/3 yellow, 1/3 blue,
Yeah.
like this.
Yep.
And then in this, so I mixed this green and I did 2/3 green, 1/3 red, and it gave me this very dark color. It doesn't have to be this dark. That's your
Right.
first layer. So as my first layer, this is what I did.
Okay,
So I can always paint on top and make it darker if I want to make this darker. But at this time I decided here it was a little light. So when I attacked this one, I made it a little darker. But I didn't go over this one again. I just left this one alone, went here, and now I'm coming down here with these other colors.
okay.
It's very important to cover all of the white before you start changing what you've already done.
Yep. Okay, so I'll just do that. A little bit of alizarin crimson and green.
So you know how I try to recommend that when you set out your paints, you always set them out in the same order on your palette.
Yeah.
And do you remember why I said that?
No. I don't.
So
Why
you know
does-
what your colors are?
Yeah, it's so that it's easy to remember where your colors are. And when you're in the middle of painting, you don't spend any time looking for your colors. And what I read that was very interesting was it might be considered similar to like a pianist, someone, you know,
Oh,
playing
right.
an instrument.
Yeah.
So you always know where each key is and it never changes place. So when you're trying to play the instrument,
That's true. You just go for the note and you know it's you don't have to look at it. You just hit it usually.
yes, yes, exactly. So I thought it was a very interesting compare.
Yeah.
That's good
I never thought-
analogy.
especially if you're outside painting. Boy, you don't have much time.
But even inside, if you're in class, nice.
Dark. I mean, it might be.
You want some of the colors to be true colors rather than all having browns everywhere. So a color in which you have put the complementary color is a color that is toned down, or it's been, you know, it has become kind of a brown color.
Oh, okay.
Or a gray color. Whereas if you were to mix the yellow and the red and make a nice orange, this is still a color that we have in our palette.
Yeah.
That's more of a like a true color.
Okay.
And it hasn't been browned by putting the complementary color, which would be the blue in the case of the orange.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the eye is attracted to the colors that are more pure and colors that you can see on your palette, you know.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So when looking at a painting, your eye will not be attracted as much to a gray or brownish color. It will be more attracted to a nice bright red or bright orange or bright yellow, you know. So
So if I painted this more white, it's gonna look odd no matter what color I put, right? So if I paint it and then just change it at the end, change this, that might be easier.
it could be, especially because it's so hard to determine the shape of the shadow.
Right.
But I can see that we're coming to the end of the class and you haven't covered all the white yet.
I know, I'm working on it. I got green.
Mind you, I also have not covered all my white yet,
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
but I'm almost done.
Yeah.
I think if you were to wait until it's completely dry and you were to create a new color using our, our alizarin crimson, a little white, a little red, alizarin crimson, a little yellow, and a little white,
Okay.
and came up with something like this. I'm going to show you what I mean. So see how this here
Yeah.
is very different from this,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
this one has white in it and this one does not.
Okay.
So if you were to create a color that would be more like this,
Yeah.
then you would be able to cover the dark color that you have. I mean, here, see, I have my alizarin crimson
Yeah,
with a little yellow. Here I added a little bit more yellow, and here I added the white.
okay,
Oh, it's more pasty,
yeah,
but this will cover your current color a little bit better.
right, okay.
And you might have to do 2 layers, but it might work.
My God. My son's here. He scared the crap out of me.
I put the AC in the bedroom. The other one.
It's a dark green.
So, well, the shadow will go here, okay?
Oh.
But I just painted the grass like if there's no shadow.
Okay, that
And
makes
then
sense.
on top of that, I will then mix the color for the shadow and paint the shadow here.
Are you gonna paint it?
Well, it's going to be grass color plus it's complementary. And which is,
Of what, green?
yeah, grass color is green.
Yeah,
Its complementary is,
red.
oh, nice. Oh, I love that nice
Oh, that looks
green on the
good.
grass. You did a very nice first step, and you even put a little cloud in the sky.
Yep. I'm gonna
Nice.
change- I'm gonna lighten up around the mountains, but all right, I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It was fun.
yeah, see you, Leslie.
I'll talk to you later, Leslie.
Bye, hon.
Bye. Can you put it a little further away so we can see the whole thing? Yeah, it looks very dramatic. I like those nice colors that you have. It's a beautiful red, that nice brown red that you have.
Yeah, it may not work, but we'll see.
Well, maybe you leave this one like this and you do another one with a different red.
That's true.
So I've only covered the first, all the different zones,
Oh, that looks nice.
but you can already see the depth because this is darker than this,
Yeah,
and this is lighter than this. This is a lighter gray and even lighter gray. So this is behind this, and this is behind this.
wow.
See how the sky's darker here, lighter, closer to the mountain?
Yeah,
So it gives the impression that it goes like this,
yeah, I like that.
And then I've covered all of the green, but at this time, all this green grass, I mean, this will have to be reworked, but right now I just covered it.
It's really nice.
Yep. And I did like a light gray on my roof, and I didn't bother to leave white space for, those white lines that I'm gonna put at the end. I mean, a little later. I'll
Oh,
just go
okay.
paint over the red.
So maybe that's one thing, like if let's say I finish this, but then let's say I'm gonna paint again just to see, different colors. Maybe just go ahead and paint the sides. Don't do the white. Do that later. Because that's what's slowing me down, is trying to get it all nice and neat.
Yeah, but just, just go with the large masses first, and then the detail will come after.
Yeah, I never think of going, you can go over it,
Yep.
Okay,
It's not like watercolor.